Hello again. I am Dahlia Rose, back to talk to you some more about synchronicities. Tonight we are going to cover making space for synchronicities. But before we do that, I want to introduce myself again. I'm Dahlia Rose over here on the East Coast, serving my community as a healer, a guide, a support system, an oracle. Um, a magical auntie that everybody can kind of say crazy things to. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds about right or normal. And I am here to open up doors, bring awareness, show people their purpose, and help them grow. And grow myself in the process because I'm not perfect. So, with that, we are back with another night of conversation and community. And I look forward to covering this topic. One of the coolest things about tonight is that I have some stories to share that aren't mine. I've been given permission from a few people that have reached out, people that I love and adore and care about. And so sharing their synchronicities is an absolute honor and joy. In tonight's discussion, we've been talking all week about synchronicities, giving them definition, talking about how doubt can play a role in the synchronistic process in both positive well, I didn't really define positive and negative, but just that doubt has a place in your life and it's important. And talking about the higher mind was yesterday. So as we cover this topic, as we expand synchronicity, rather than just to say like, oh, it's something that happens that you want to look for in your life when things are going right, we want to create that 360-degree view of this particular spiritual topic. And I thought it'd be interesting to have a conversation about making space for synchronicities, to say that you do have a level of control available to you, just like you do in everything in life. And then there's aspects that you won't control because that is life too. And so when one considers synchronicities, we've talked about how they tend to appear neither good nor bad, but simply as a checkbox for what you are aligned to, what you are headed towards. And um, there seems to be a desire for most folks to want to increase the number of synchronicities in their life. And let's face it, to be able to know that you're on the right track, or at least if we're not declaring right or wrong, that you have a sense of where you're going. Synchronicities are a great way to establish that, other than your own personal intuition and feelings. And so with that, in order to increase the number of synchronicities in your life, there's an opportunity to do so by putting yourself out there, taking leaps of faith, heading in certain directions, allowing yourself to take chances and risks allows you to increase the number of synchronicities in your life. And this comes because you're having experiences. Experiences are what draws everything in life: friendships, connections, um, encounters, experiences. All of that is driven by taking chances and going out. So, in order to increase the number of synchronicities in your life, if you're an introvert, I'm sorry, you're going to have to go out and risk having some potentially meaningless but rewarding experiences. And that's just one of many ways. Now, funny enough, the two stories that I have to share this evening about synchronicities from my dear friends, both, I think, in my opinion, have to do with taking risks. And so the first one is a dear friend, and she went through so much in November and December. I mean, the tail end of 2022 was just a nightmare for her, with no overstating that. And so the way that we came to, or the way that I came to receive her story that I'm sharing with you all, was really positive. So she had previously gotten a car accident and was able to get into a new vehicle. And there were a lot of synchronicities surrounding it. So uh, to abbreviate the story, like, shrink it down a little bit. She had to, of course, get a new car because the accident was unfortunately that bad. And in the process of going to get a new car, you have to go and look, and those are, I don't know about anybody else, but those are the most skeevy situations. I do not like them at all. But she got to go and look for a car without intending to buy it. And so um, found a car that she really liked, knew that it was more expensive somewhere else. And this would be a moment where I think anybody would start asking the universe, like, hey, you know, if this is for me, I'm going to need some sign or signal because I'm getting into a car payment maybe, and I'm going to invest this money, and I'm not sure if this is a vehicle I want. And there's all these questions, and it's nice to have some reassurance from the universe that, yeah, you're making the right choice. And so from there, she talks about going for a test drive and, uh, trying to negotiate with the person she was driving with, the dealer that she was driving with. And I want to get this right because I thought it was great. She was overwhelmed by all of it, and in her from her intuitive senses, she was thinking, and she was silent during this. So in her silent thinking, um, she heard that she should ask to knock off $500. And at first, she got a rejection. She got a no. And I know at that point, like, I've had instances where I've been told to do something and it didn't work out, and I'm like, why would you tell me to do that? Or questioning, like, was this did I misunderstand the intuition? So I definitely would have been questioning that after getting a no, and feeling like I was guided to ask for $500 off. And at the point that she thought that she might walk away, her favorite song came on the radio. Now, this a feel good song, a words that are inspiring through music. I think that's something that everybody can relate to in moments where they're having a hard time, or they're hoping to connect on an intuitive level or feel some sense of comfort. Music and that sort of intuitive shuffle is what I call it through Spotify, because that's mostly what I listen to when I drive. It always lands on something that, I'll be thinking about a loved one, and then the song will come on and reassure those feelings. Or I'll be thinking of how can I get through a particular situation, and the title of the song will be the direction to go in, or just a song about waiting or something like that. And so she had this song from college that was a favorite song of hers come on, and it lifted her up a little bit. She talks about giggling. And so then she says to the person, and it seemed like the song inspired this question. And I'm sorry if I'm butchering this story, and you're watching. Um, she said, um, she said to the dealer, ask again, see if you can still get some money off. And they did, and they, instead of 500, they did 250, and that was still good. And then as she's going to finance the car, there is a picture on the wall of a place that looked familiar to her. I think it was a painting. It looks like a painting on this wall. And she's like, that place looks familiar. And the lady who owns the office is like, I don't know. I could be a place that in West Virginia. And my friend is like, no, I think I've been there. And my friend pulls out her phone, and it is a place where she went hiking only I want to say it was only a couple weeks, if not a month earlier. And so, the synchronicity of getting the right price for the vehicle and the song confirming that this was the right choice, and then finally you're financing, you're going through that like paperwork process that's like long and arduous, to see a painting up on a wall is perfect synchronicity to say, hey, you know what, you're in good hands. This is a great direction to go in. And she wasn't even planning on investing in a vehicle at the time, and came back for it, and it I couldn't think of a better synchronicity. I did have a similar story, and I can't recall, I don't think I shared it with you all. When I went for crisis counseling training, uh, I arrived early and went through the training course, thought it was amazing. The thought of supporting people and, um, giving people something that was meaningful in a time in my life where I felt meaningless to the person that I loved, was I was sold from there, only to find out that I was just getting into spirituality, and one of my hallmark everything's gonna be okay signs was a butterfly. And as I'm leaving this training, I started to question a little bit. Like, I was happy and I was excited to try it, but I was like, I don't know. And then as I'm leaving, passing a wall that I saw on my way in, I see butterflies painted in white across the wall. And I was like, okay, I heard you. Like, this is where I'm supposed to be. Much like Sarah's um painting, where she got a chance to see the painting where she had taken a photo. It was absolutely beautiful, beautiful moment. Um, so my other friend, so we're sharing stories about synchronicities that were about putting ourselves out there, and um, you know, it can be as big as going to purchase a car. It can be just a chance walk or a chance visit. And that's kind of where this direction is going with the other story. So, my other friend, he has been exploring spirituality and different concepts. And if you've been paying attention since 2020 or earlier, I mean, but 2020 was really like a calling card for the spiritual landscape to break wide open for people. It goes in a lot of different directions. You have the yoga groups, you have the essential oil groups, you have the meditators, you have the chanters, you have the breathwork people, you have the ascension people, you have the ghost hunting people. It's all over the place. And so he's been exploring like extraterrestrials and our connection to them and things like that, and he happened to go by, and I want to get this right again. I like getting things, I like getting people's stories right. Goodness, I can't find it. There we are. So he happened to be grocery shopping in a place where there was one of those leave a book, take a book cubbies. And he happened to find a book called Ascension: The Shift to the Fifth Dimension by the Arcturian Council. And the Arcturians are a race of aliens. I know them to be a group that has given us a lot of technology and is here to help us evolve. And so for him to find that, and there are a handful of other synchronicities coinciding with that, on from his own personal story. But as he's exploring this connection with extraterrestrials, he's given a channeled book, and channeled books are very powerful because not only are they written with purpose in mind, not to say that other books are not, but there is a purpose to channeled books, that is to say you're giving voice to something usually non-corporeal. So you're giving voice to an alien, you're giving a voice to a being of a different dimension. Um, and that voice is coming through to convey some message to the planet. And you're risking a lot, by the way, when you do stuff like that. And so here he has this channeled text. Channeled work, channeled books have a vibration and a feeling to them. So when you read them, the words that come through have a resonance that enters your field, and it can drastically shift your life path. It can expand your mind. And when you open it and you read it, you tend to, and you can have this moment where everything is understood from a heart place in a way that you may not have received if you were receiving it from a friend or a human being. So you can really, when it comes to channeled text, you can really feel the vibration of the words on the page. There's a couple that I would recommend. I don't know if he's still selling books or reading books, but there was a being named Czar, and his channel is from Australia. I could probably link the books in the description or in the comment section on Facebook. But those books, I know when I just put my hands on them, it was like receiving an energy healing. And then when you go through to read the text, it's really moving. And it's not that it's um, knowledge that you wouldn't already have. Like I said, there's a vibration, a healing tone to the material, and that's what makes it special. And then Paul Selig is another one. I'm a pretty big fan of Paul Selig as a channel, and I don't know him personally. It'd be cool to meet him one day, and his texts also, you can feel the resonance and the vibration through those things. And there's a handful of other channels out there that just are not coming to mind because it's late. But when you go on to read these texts, you can feel something. And so I'm absolutely excited for my friend to have gotten his hands on this book. And it happened just because he went grocery shopping and he took a chance. And so, again, how do you make space for synchronicities to increase in your life? How do you make space for them? You take a chance, you go out, you put yourself out there, and then you allow life to kind of meet you halfway. You go out and you don't, it's not that you're going out to say, like, hey, I'm going to meet somebody today. It's like, hey, you know what? I am open to receiving all that the universe has for me, and not in some flippant way, but like, I'm open to the meaningful experiences. I deserve them. And more than that, I am I'm a meaningful person. I'm important. I'm part of this existence, and I'm here to see how deep and how far that connection with all that is can go. And you'll meet interesting people. You'll have interesting conversations. So that's the other part of um, making space for synchronicities, is not only having to put yourself out there and leave the house and go places, but you will have to talk to people, and be open to taking your time throughout the day to just share. If you're not in an approachable space, don't force it, but realize that when you open your mouth to speak to somebody and say, you know, nice shoes, or what a great smile you have, or something like that, a door opens up and you can allow synchronicities to step through, because you never know where that conversation will lead. How many times have you seen your favorite animal tattooed on somebody's arm? That's an opportunity and an invitation to have a synchronicity. How many times has someone been driving your favorite car and you thought, man, I want to meet that person, and you go and you strike up a conversation? Maybe it's not happening, and that's the problem. But being approachable, opening yourself up, having open stance, having a willingness to take a chance and not believe that it's going to be terrible or people are draining or, I mean, they are sometimes. But other than that, taking a chance is a great way to putting yourself out there. Having conversations is a great way to open yourself up to synchronicities to happen in your life. We can also be more intentional about reaching for things that seem unachievable. I just earlier was able to share community and teach a crystal grids class with Wendy Hausman. And she is this amazing coven leader who has decolonized and is probably still decolonizing witchcraft through her own work, through her group. And, she said something very poignant to me once. And I believe this was something that her grandmother shared with her. And it was that you already have the no. I believe I want to quote this right. You already have the no. So why not just go for the yes? And so that's how she's lived her life. And that has transpired and allowed synchronicity after synchronicity to occur for her. Something she shared, I'm sure publicly, and something she's probably keeping close to her heart. But she's met authors, she's met amazing people that are now in her coven. She's done amazing work, and she's following the synchronicities, just going for it and setting big goals. And it's so beautiful to see her go after these things, and so inspiring, just on the chance of, well, I've already got the no, I might as well try for the yes, and allowing the universe to kind of turn around and meet her halfway. So another way to increase the opportunity for synchronicities in your life is to set high goals. Now, if you have challenges with that, committing, or you're just not able to, you don't have the dopamine to get it done, you don't have the energy, you're neurodiverse and easily overwhelmed, this is not the conversational space to push yourself. But instead, if it happens, if you are willing to allow it and you have the internal functional backing, then I offer you an opportunity to try something different. I'd love, again, I've gotten some stories already, would love to hear more. And the last thing is optimism, not toxic positivity. Not everything's going to be great as the dumpster fire burns in the background, but optimism to say that everything is an opportunity. I found myself saying that a lot last year, and not that it was a dumpster fire, because it wasn't. I'm sure there were people with worse circumstances. But I found myself saying, I only see opportunities. Even when I didn't, I only see opportunities. And that was not to say that the opportunities were always positive, but maybe it was an opportunity for me to learn. Maybe it was an opportunity for me to grow. Maybe it was for an opportunity for truth. Maybe it was an opportunity for some sort of shift in my awareness or expansion in my field. And to me, that's really the best definition of being optimistic enough to have increased synchronicities play out in your life. So put yourself out there. Try to be approachable or approach people when you have the time and the bandwidth. Allow yourself to be relatively optimistic and try your best to only see opportunities to heal, opportunities to love, opportunities to expand, opportunities to go further in life than you ever have, even if it's only on an emotional level, because that is huge. And this is how you can make space for more synchronicities in your life and know that you're on the right path and that you're aligned. Thank you again for spending time with me this evening, and I wish you all the best and happy healing, guys.